So I had to wait. I don't know how long I have to film on this, but I went back to work today. I gave my boyfriend a hard time because he did bring me coffee, which I don't normally drink, and he also brought me or made breakfast this morning, but he didn't call me until later in the afternoon. But we talked twice or whatever. He's like, "Well, I was more concerned about your mental health." When I walked in, people looked at me like they had seen a ghost. Like, the general consensus was people feel like that I'm back to work way too soon. But that's people that are like in lower departments than I am, like the managers and stuff. They treated me no differently. But I didn't see my manager today, so I'll just leave that there. I think that there's no such thing as too soon or handling things the right way. It's up to you and your life. Ooh, we're trying to catch the lights. It's up to you and what you feel comfortable with in your life. And I don't know, do I care about what you guys think about me? No. So let me just talk about me and my experience, because this may help somebody else. I can't talk about this experience without talking about my faith. I can't, because I don't see how I could do it without faith. Does that make sense? It also is a faith act to me to have a child, because you can have sex thousands of times and never get pregnant. You know what I mean? So it takes a miracle to make that happen, because, you know, even doctors have a problem creating life. The main thing is that they don't know what causes this to happen. There are no answers. They can kind of say, oh, well, if this or if that, but they cannot tell you 100% sure if you're going to go full term or what stopped you from going full term. They can't. And that's the science. They don't know, you know? And that's where faith steps in for me. It steps in the unknowing, and also in my limited knowledge, always knowing that my knowledge and my understanding is limited. I do not have the big picture of my life in the palm of my own hand. I don't have it. I'm never going to have it. There's always going to be a lesson, a test, a testimony, some laughter, some tears. That all comes with living this life. It doesn't matter who you are, that comes with it, and however you process that, with or without faith, is up to you. And I just want to put that out there, because when I woke up this morning, it was like really on my mind, on my heart, on my soul, that I do not have to hold a grudge of any kind against anything or anybody for any reason, not even against myself. I can forgive myself for not being enough, for not being thankful enough, for just not having knowledge enough, for not having the foresight enough. I can let that go. I don't have to let that weigh me down. And I know that it has been like a real grace act for me, that I had that immediately, like in the hospital, and it was beyond me. It was not me. And I think that's my story about it. I did watch some videos and stuff because I didn't know what to expect, you know, for saying the physical part. I went through a lot physically. It wasn't just one day at the hospital. I went through a lot physically for like 7 or 8 days. I didn't even know you could bleed that much or have that many blood clots. I called my doctor. She said if it wasn't the size of a softball, don't worry about it. That's the kind. I'm like, well, damn, you know. And that's just, so I went through a lot physically, in pain, just, you know. I have a newfound respect for women. So don't think that just because I am happy and I'm rejuvenated and I'm not letting things weigh me down, that I didn't suffer or that it doesn't cross my mind. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to let it beat me down, and I'm not going to milk it. Does that make sense? I'm not going to make it more than what it is. And I know that we all handle things in our own way. And that's important, that everybody is able to tap into what it is for them, whatever their tragedy, whatever their loss is, so that they can face it in a way that is true to them. If people need time, they need time. If they don't need time, they don't need time. I don't like people look at me with a sad face. It kind of makes me feel so weird. Like I said, it started for me at work. So one lady, she was like, she looked at me like she saw a ghost. She's like, all I could hear that whole night, like all night long, was like your voice. And I was like, I don't even remember you being there. I was in such distress, like physical distress, physical pain. And I don't remember the details, and I don't have that trauma around it on certain parts of it. Can I say that? Not to say that there is not some trauma, but then that's where my faith comes in, because I've had trauma, or whatever I thought was trauma, in my life before. And for people who don't think that I'm really sad or whatever, or that I should be a lot more heartbroken, let me tell you something. I don't think that there will ever be a greater heartbreak than feeling like a heart that was inside of you died and couldn't make it. I don't think that you could have that and not have, you know what I mean, some emotion behind it. But at the same time, see, at the same time, you have to have faith that there are things at work for your greater good that you cannot see. And that's what gives me peace no matter what. So I don't want people to think that, oh, you just, you know, it's phony, it's fake. Like one of my coworkers was like, well, you should take some more time off. You should come in today, don't come in again. And at least they can say that you tried. I was like, well, how much time off do you think I need? And she was like, 6 weeks at least. And I'm like, you know, they only give you that when you go full time, girl. But, you know, it's okay. And for me, it's okay. Even if I do get a little weepy-eyed here and there, which I really don't, unless I have to say, like, really poignant things so people get the point. You know what I mean? Because people think that just because you are able to pick yourself back up, that you don't have feelings. The feelings are there, but I process them through faith. Does that make sense? My head is not in the clouds or anything like that. I'm a real person, and I do have real feelings like we all do, but you have to find out the best way for you to fight through this life. And for me, fighting through this life isn't really fighting. It's surrendering, it's letting go, it's trusting and believing in a loving God, in a loving life, in a better life. For every bad situation that I've ever been through, I've come through it. I have never been left in a bad situation. Now, I may have had to be in a bad situation